In today's video, we're going to go through and discuss Malacath's Daedric Shrine quest in the Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion. In order to begin this quest, we must be at least level 10. There are 2 NPCs within the game who can point out the shrine to us on our map, and fortunately, both of them are in the city of Anvil. We travel over to the main gate and make our way over to the Mages Guild. Here, we search for the wood elf named Thoron. Finding him, we speak with him.
A pleasure to speak with you.
We ask him about Daedra shrines.
There's a Malacath shrine west of Fort Such, west of the Gold Road to Hammerfell. But I stay away. I like my skin on the outside, in one piece.
With that, we can exit the conversation, and we see, as per the top left corner, that a map marker has been added to Malacath's shrine. The other NPC in Anvil who can point out Malacath's shrine is Pinaris Inventius. Pinaris is the local hunter and tracker, and we do engage with him during the Fighters Guild quest, A Rat Problem. Speaking with him sounds like this.
You know, I saw your fight against the Grey Prince. Nobody thought that orc could be beat, but you showed them all.
We ask him about Daedra shrines.
I saw a big statue of Malacath, west of Fort Such, west of the Gold Road to Hammerfell. It looked like Daedra worshippers to me.
That interaction would have also added a map marker for Malacath's shrine. Important to note for Pinaris is that he will only tell us about the Daedric Shrine if we have read the book Modern Heretics, or have spoken with Ulain Hulervu in Shadenhall about Shadenhall. We open up our map and scroll north. We see Malacath's shrine marked right beside Fort Such, just above the T where it says the Gold Coast. We fast travel over to the fort and make our way over west-southwest. It doesn't take very long before we discover Malacath's shrine. As per usual, there are 3 Daedric worshippers, all of which happen to be orcs, but we'll go into why later. The worshippers are Gorub Gro Ugdub, Mug Gro Murgok, and Shabab Gro Rugdush. Speaking with the former 2 sounds like this.
Who's talking to you? I'm not. Were you invited? I didn't invite you.
Most Daedric Shrine worshippers aren't exactly happy over our presence, but these interactions definitely make us feel a little more unwelcomed. Finally, we speak with Shabab Gro Rugdush.
You dare come here to the shrine of our Lord? You are not one of us.
We ask him about the Shrine of Malacath.
I guess you haven't heard. We don't like the beautiful people. But maybe you can persuade me you're ugly inside.
And with that, we take the social cue. We grease him up with a few septums and ask again about the shrine.
You're not one of Malacath's favorite people. He likes orcs. Too bad for you. So you approach his shrine at your own risk.
We tell him we'll approach.
Then go on and do your approaching. But Malacath wants a present. He likes troll fat. And he likes only troll fat.
And with that, we get a quest update. Rugdush plain and simply tells us that in order to continue with this quest, we need to offer troll fat to the shrine. There are 2 easy ways to obtain it without fighting trolls. Number 1 is by fast traveling to the Imperial City Market District. Here, we can make our way over to the alchemy shop, the main ingredient. By speaking with the proprietor, Ogir Giorik, we can take a look at his wares and see that he has troll fat on him. For us, it costs about 44 gold, which is nothing more than a drop in the bucket. If you want to acquire it the freeway while still trying to stay out of violence, we can fast travel over to the city of Skingrad and go inside of the Mages Guild Hall. Here, we can ascend up to the living quarters, and in the corner of the main area, we'll see a display case that's guarded by a hard lock. Getting into it, we'll find a sample of troll fat which we can take and present to the shrine. Then finally, we can choose the violent option and go out hunting for a troll. Trolls can be found all over Cyrodiil, but for the most luck, it's best to head to the Blackwood Forest area. They have a massive weakness to fire, so use as many flame spells and enchantments as you can. Once the troll is dead, you can loot its troll fat and be on your way back to the shrine. Any of these 3 methods work, and there's also an abundance more for acquiring troll fat. Arriving back at Malacath's shrine, we approach the statue and interact with it. We choose to offer the troll fat.
You brought a present? Good. That's smart. You want something? And if you're smart, you do what I tell you. Lord Drad took my ogres. Says he owns them. Lying maggot! They're my ogres! Lord Dread put my little brothers in chains, working in the mines. I don't like that. Get over to Lord Dread's estate. Let my ogres loose and get them out. Okay, get going!
And with that, we get a quest update. Malacath sort of gave us a recap, but I'll do another one anyways. We essentially have to go over to Lord Drad's estate, which is nearby, and free a group of ogres from some slavery. Lord Drad's estate is a short distance away with a bearing of southeast. The quest in itself is certainly interesting. Our whole time throughout this adventure, we've only ever known ogres as enemies. They're brutish foes, and have only ever wreaked havoc upon those we help. Eventually, we arrive at the estate. There's a massive manor along with a few little huts and some fields in between. Approaching the front door, we notice that entering inside is considered trespassing, so we proceed with caution and enter inside of the manor. Immediately, we can see that our presence here has caused some commotion. A woman by the name of Lady Drad comes running over at us, telling us that it's probably best we leave. Heading upstairs, we see a male dark elf. We speak with him.
I welcome you to my humble home, stranger. What brings you to this place?
We ask him about Lord Drad.
I am Lord Drad.
We then ask him about the Drad estates.
The land is good, the farm productive, but it's mining the wealth from beneath the land that will make my fortune.
Finally, we ask him about the ogre slaves.
Can you think of a better use for the mindless beasts? Under my eye, they do some good in this world.
We tell him that we admire his efforts.
I am quite pleased with the ogre slaves in my bleak mine. No issues of slavery with brute beasts. Profitable and legal.
We ask him about Bleak Mine.
The source of my income, of course. I bought it for a song from a foolish orc. My ogres mine the gold, and I reap the reward.
And with that, we can exit the conversation. We now know that we have to head to Bleak Mine, so we can leave the Drad estate and work our way over to the compass arrow. Now here's what happens if we choose the dialogue option of scolding Lord Drad for being a slave owner.
I don't believe I asked for your opinion on this matter. I am done speaking with you. Please leave my estate.
We're forced out of the conversation, but we decide to speak with Lady Drad.
I'm afraid you've upset my husband. Please, leave before he loses his temper. I beg you.
We ask her about Lord Drad.
He is my husband, a kind and gentle man. He has given me everything I might ever desire.
We then ask her about the estates.
Drad purchased the land and title from council. It cost him a fortune, and he's determined to make it pay.
We then ask about the ogre slaves.
I can't tell you about that. Please, just go.
We throw a few septims her way and then try again.
But that will get you something. He works them in Bleak Mine. It's terrible. The guards beat the creatures mercilessly. That's all I can tell you. Now please go.
And with that, we exit the conversation. As it turns out, Bleak Mine is just beyond Lord Drad's fields. We hop over the fence and find ourselves right at the entrance. Due to Lady Drad's information, we know that there are guards down here, so we're not too sure what to expect. We pick the lock and enter inside. Whilst down here, we immediately see a patrol come in. We hide in the shadows, unsure if our presence will lead to violence. We decide to just completely run out and see what happens. The guards are not fazed by us being here and don't react, so we decide to speak with them.
Well, you're living on borrowed time, thief! Hello there. Thieves break in, but they don't break out. They break all over when I'm finished with them.
The guards hurl threats at us, yet they don't act upon them. So this is likely just a scare tactic to ensure we don't do anything out of the ordinary. We move along and see more guards wearing leveled heavy armor. We approach and speak with them as well.
No repeat offenders! That's my motto!
In the distance, we can hear deep bellows and growls coming from what sound like the ogres. In total, there are 6 Bleak Mine guards, with one of them being the captain. Exploring around, we'll find two groups of ogres locked in different cells. The rusty doors are secured with hard locks, which aren't too difficult to pick, but if you did want the key to let them out, we could pick out a Bleak Mind Guard and engage in combat with them. Obviously, due to their leveled gear and their combat abilities, they have quite a bit of health, and they hit pretty good, but ultimately we're able to best them, loot their body, and take the Tarnished Ogre Cage Key. Now this key only opens up one of the cells. In order to get the shiny Ogre Cage Key, we have to kill another guard, and that will open the other set of cage doors. But again, we can always pick the lock as well. Whichever method we choose, once the door is open, the ogres slowly walk out and we get a quest update. The trio of ogres will trudge their way through the mines until they come in contact with the guards. It's here that they instantly become aggro and a fight breaks out. Once one of the guards engages in battle, the rest come over to their aid. Now, there really isn't anything wrong with killing all of the guards beforehand. It is a tedious and unnecessary task though, as the guards don't necessarily need to die, and the ogres themselves will take care of them. Also important to note is that we actually don't have to wait around for the fight to end. We can simply go to the next cage and release the ogres, and that will give us a quest notification to go back to the Shrine of Malacath. Due to this being a leveled 6v3, the Bleak Mind Guards won against that group of ogres, and quite comically, after the fight was done, every single one of them came over to talk to us to tell them a piece of their mind. Now we went over to the second cage of ogres, unlocked it, and released them. We got a quest update that since all the ogres were technically freed, we could return back to the Shrine of Malacath. However, we decided to have an influence here on how the battle goes. All of the guards came running in, and we decided to slowly pick them off one by one. Eventually though, we ran into a group of them, and the real fight broke out. We began by only pulling the attention of a few of them, until finally we were completely stuck in a corner, and took relentless hits and damage. The ogres did their job at killing off the stragglers, and eventually there was only one left, but again, as stated before, our character was stuck. So I thought we had to reload the save and redo everything until we were slowly able to nudge ourselves out from in between the rocks and get free. The ogres were successful in killing the Bleak Mind Guards, and even with just their freedom, our job was done. We exit the mines and immediately see something peculiar in the distance. There are two workers in Lord Drad's fields who are being overlooked by ogres. Upon getting a closer look, we see that it's actually Lord Drad and Lady Drad. The ogres acted quickly and kicked them out of the house, turning them into the slaves. We approach Lord Drad and speak with him.
Please, I've got to get to work. If I don't, who knows what those ogres will do to me?
We turn to Lady Drad and speak with her.
Now my poor husband is the slave, and the ogres are his masters. They haven't harmed us, but he's never worked so hard in his life.
It seems like so far the ogres are treating the Drads way better than they ever treated the ogres. We decide to take a look around the local slave quarters to see what's going on inside of them. They're messy but relatively empty. These are likely the new chambers to the two dark elves. We decided to go inside of Lord Drad's estate to see what's changed. The answer to that is nothing really. The ogres haven't moved in, and the rest of the Drad stuff is still here. The house would make for a great hit on fencing things for the Thieves Guild. We exit the manor and fast travel back over to Malacath's Stagic Shrine. Here, we approach the statue.
Good job. No one owns ogres but me! And I fixed that maggot. The ogres own Drad. Make Drad eat death. Now you get a present. Keep up the good work, and be nice to my little brothers.
And with that, the quest is completed as well as we're handed a reward. We speak with Rugdush for some dialogue.
Malacath likes you. You don't look very foul or ugly, but just keep doing ugly stuff and you'll be fine.
Taking a closer look at our reward, Malacath gifted us the two-handed, enchanted, leveled, Daedric unique weapon, Volendrung. Our character is not proficient in blunt weapons, so it only has an overall damage rating of 8 for us. However, the enchantments are quite nice. It paralyzes for 3 seconds on strike and drains health for 5 points for 20 seconds on strike. One last little bit of housekeeping. Returning back to the Drad estate, Lord Drad and Lady Drad offer no unique dialogue. They cannot be killed and can only be rendered unconscious. Doing so does not aggro any of the ogres. Attacking the ogres, they will attack us back, however, the rest of the surrounding ogres do not. It truly appears as though the Drads will be enslaved for the rest of their lives. Now, it's time to discuss Malacath and Volendrung. Reading directly from the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, many believe that Malacath was once the Aedra god Trinimac. Leading up to the events of their transformation, it's believed that during the Merethic era, Boethia, the Daedric prince, had a hand in creating the Chimer. This act enraged Trinimac, and Trinimac confronted Boethia. This is where there are 2 potential legends that could have happened. Reading them verbatim off of the unofficial pages, during the fight, Trinimac was about to strike down Boethia when Mephala appeared. The web spinner stabbed Trinimac in the back. As Trinimac kneeled helpless, Boethia invoked a ritual to scar and twist Trinimac's appearance, then banished the Aedra to a place of ash. In a rage, Trinimac cut open his chest and tore the shame from his spirit, being reborn as Malak, or Malacath. The other legend goes as follows. Boethia appeared as a beautiful lass and asked Trinimac for a kiss. When he obliged, Boethia swallowed him whole. As the priests prepared to pass judgment on the Velothi dissidents, Boethia appeared before them in Trinimac's form. Trinimac burped, farted, and spoke foolishly, and when the crowd grew large enough, Boethia told them what had been whispered to Veloth and demonstrated the lies of Trinimac's teachings, all in Trinimac's voice. When the priests were sufficiently shamed and broken, Boethia squeezed out a great pile of dung before the crowd, all that remained of the once proud knight, as proof that this was the truth. Some accounts state that the followers of Boethia and Trinimac are said to have rubbed the dung upon themselves and changed their skins. Others claim that the dung pile slunk away in shame. I think regardless of which of these legends happens to be true, the main takeaway is that the once beautiful and wholesome god got turned into a hideous and deformed creature. This is why beings like orcs, ogres, and goblins all pray to Malacath, as Malacath, or Malak, looks over and protects those who are shunned from society, cursed, or are overall ghastly in appearance. Now let's switch over the conversation to the enchanted warhammer, Volendrung. Volendrung has no article written about it in Tamrielic lore. Many consider this to be ironic, as Volendrung was actually forged by the Dwemer. It was crafted by the Rorken clan of Hammerfell. According to various lore articles, it's unknown why Volendrung became the Daedric artifact of Malacath, but because it did, it has cultural significance to both the Dwemer and the Orsimer. The hammer has made appearances in the Elder Scrolls Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and Elder Scrolls Online. In the Second Era, around the year 582, the Daedric prince Sheogorath thought it would be interesting to steal various Daedric artifacts and place them around Cyrodiil. One of the ones he decided to keep in the Shivering Isles was Volendrung. It turns out that during the Three Banners War, Volendrung was wielded by the Vestige. During the events of the Elder Scrolls Arena, Volendrung was apparently uncovered during the Imperial Simulacrum. However, reports vary as to which province it was found in. It could have either been Morrowind, High Rock, or Hammerfell. During the events of Daggerfall, an agent of the Blades killed a Daedra seducer who betrayed Malacath. In return, Malacath gifted them Volendrung. During the events of Morrowind, a powerful sorcerer named Devaith Fur came into possession of Volendrung. He kept the hammer locked away in a chest, and often would invite thieves to try and steal it, as all of them would fail. We know what happened with the hammer during the events of Oblivion, and in the events of Skyrim, the Dragonborn helped a clan of orcs take care of a group of giants which were in the area who previously had attacked their settlement. The Dragonborn defeated the giants, slayed the weak orcish leader, and in turn, received Volendrung as a reward. With that, thus officially ends the Daedric Shrine quest belonging to Malacath in the Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. Until next time, keep on adventuring.